Alright, hey guys, today we're going to talk about unions, intersections, and complements. Basically, what unions and intersections and complements come from is a Venn diagram. Hopefully you've seen Venn diagrams before, but by definition, a Venn diagram is a way to organize information. We then compare and contrast data. It's nothing more than a visual. The union in a Venn diagram is two or more sets that contain all of the elements of all of the sets. So everything in each set is represented. We use the letter U, or a capital U, to be our symbol. So anytime you see that, think of union. To find the union of two sets, we list the elements that are in either set or in both sets. The Venn diagram below is a shaded union of A and B. And if you notice, everything in A and everything in B is shaded, or means everything. Okay, so anytime you see the word union, you think everything and all. So, for example, we have a bouquet of flowers that have roses, carnations, and baby breath, and a second bouquet that has roses, lilies, and daisies, and we want to take both of these and put them in the same vase. What flowers do we have in the vase now? Well, we have roses, carnations, and the baby's breath from the first. We have the new roses, the lilies, and the daisies from the second. But when we write out the union, we do not repeat the roses. So we just write every flower one time. Take a few seconds and do the U-try. Please pause this video while you do it. In the U-try, you have P being the numbers 5, 10, and 15, and 20. Q being 8, 10, 18, and 20. And you want to find the union, so you see the symbols being used. This is how problems will be asked of you. P, union, Q, or P or Q is what you should think of. In that case, it's all the numbers in P, all the numbers in Q. So it's 5, 8, 10, 15, 18, and 20. And yes, typically we put them in numerical order in this case. Next, we have what's called the intersection. The intersection is what the elements have in common. We use an upside down U or an N for intersection. And when you find that, you only list the elements that are in both sets. So the Venn diagram here shows you what they have in common, just that overlap. So anytime you see this symbol, that means intersection or the word and you only include the overlap. Then we have what's called disjoint sets. Disjoint sets are sets that have nothing in common. The intersection would be the null set or the empty set. So it's just like a zero with a slash through it. There's no solution. In this case, a Venn diagram would be like this. An example is my Math 2 class and Miss Moore's Math 2 class. You can't both be in her class and in my class. You're in one or the other. So let's look at an example. We're going to let C be X such that X is a natural number less than 20. So if you remember natural numbers, those are just your counting numbers. So this is 1, 2, 3, all the way to 20. Okay. Natural number less than 20, not equal to it, but less than it. And anytime I have these type of problems, I always list out my numbers so that I can see them visually. D, Y is an odd integer, so that would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it continues. Then Z is a multiple of 4. Well, multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and it continues as well. Then we are asked to find C and D, the intersection of these two. Well, because C has a ending point, it makes life easier because we don't have to go on forever and ever. So we want a natural number less than 20 that is also an odd integer. So basically all we want are the odd numbers less than 20. In the middle one, we want C and E, so we want all the multiples of 4 that are less than 20. So that's 4, 8, 12, and 16. And then the last one, we want the intersection of D and E. So we want odd integers that are also multiple of 4, which doesn't exist because 4 is an even number. So we put the empty set. Now take a few moments using these sets and do the U-try. Please pause the video until you are done. In the first one, it asks you for X union Y. So if you notice, we switched up the symbol on you to see if you're paying attention. X union Y means all the numbers in X and all the numbers in Y. So 0 through 10, all those little numbers that they have, list them all out. In the middle, X and Z, it wants the elements of X that are in common with Z. Well, Z is odd integers, and there's not an odd number in X, so that means this answer is the empty set. The last one, Z and Y, wants the numbers in common with Z and Y, meaning all the odd integers that are a part of Y, which are only the numbers 5 and 7. If you have any questions on this, now's the time to ask Miss Lewis before moving on. Now, we are going to look at an example where you're given a Venn diagram and ask a bunch of questions. This Venn diagram represents the people enrolled in a dance class for tap, jazz, or ballet. We're going to use it to answer any of the questions. How many students are enrolled in all 3 classes? Well, that's the overlap of all 3 bubbles, so that has to be 9. Our next question asks how many students are enrolled in tap or ballet. So that is any student that is in the tap bubble or any student that is in the ballet bubble. So that would be 28, 13, 9, 17, 29, and 25. All the ballet, all the tap. And you only use each number once. And that's 121. Next, we're asked how many students are enrolled in jazz and ballet, but not tap. So we want jazz and ballet, but not in this tap bubble at all. So these 9 students that have all 3 cannot be counted because they are in tap. So we're only talking about the 25 students right here that are in the jazz and the ballet bubble. An extra question, how many are enrolled in dance? That would be all of them added up, which is 164. How about how many are in tap and jazz but not ballet? Tap and jazz but not ballet would be those 13 students there. If you have any questions about this example, now's the time to ask Ms. Lewis. Take a few seconds and try the you do it about the number of students and how many dogs, cats, and birds they have in a house. The Venn diagram is given for you. Pause the video while you work on it and then check your answers. So, here are questions about the pets in the Manhattan school. How many students in Manhattan school have one of 3 of the types of pets? That's everybody. Everybody's got at least one. So it's 226. Oh, no. How many have 1? So that would be 85, 1, 10, and 31. Because these people here in the intersections have more than 1. So I apologize. You only want them to have 1 of the 3 pets, not multiple pets. How many students have dogs or cats? That's anybody in the dog bubble or the cat bubble. That's 280. And how many students have dogs, cats, and birds? That would be 10 because it needs to have all 3. If you have any questions, please ask Ms. Lewis. Let's do one more. We have a group of 400 teens who were asked what type of music they like. And they had got to choose between pop, country, or rap. So it's a long time ago before there was all those different types of music. The results are given in the Venn diagram. How many teens said that they listened to none of the type of music? Well, that's just a little number over here, the 42. If you didn't fit within a bubble, 42, these people over here were like, I don't like any of them. How many said they listened to all 3? That would be the intersection of all 3, 7. How many said they listened to only pop and rap? Only pop and rap narrows it down to this 25 here. Again, if you have any questions, please ask Ms. Lewis. How many teens said that they listened to pop, rap, or country? That's adding up all the bubbles, which is 358, or we know there's 400 teens total. We can just subtract the 42 that weren't in a bubble. Also gives us our 358. Next, we're going to start creating Venn diagrams. So in this one, we're talking about the presidents. We have 3 different sets, so we have 3 different bubbles. We have set R, which is the presidents on Mount Rushmore. We have set F, which are the presidents that were born in February. And we have set B, and that would be the ones with beards. And all you're going to do is write down which president goes in what bubble. Jefferson is only in the R, so he's only in the R bubble, and so is Theodore Roosevelt. Washington is on Mount Rushmore and was born in February, so he goes in this intersection. Reagan is only in the February. Lincoln is on all 3 bubbles. Harrison has a beard and was born in February, with Grant and Garfield being the only 2 that have just a beard. Any questions on creating this Venn diagram, please ask Miss Lewis. Now take a few moments, pause the video, and try the U-try. Then check your answer. This is what your Venn diagram should look like for X, Y, and Z. X are your vowels, Y are the letters between A and F, and Z are just the letters A, C, and E. So I, O, U are only in X, A and E are in common with all 3, B, D, F are only in Y, C is in common between Z and Y. If you have any questions, please ask Miss Lewis. Now we're going to do some with some numbers, and it can kind of get a little confusing sometimes. And then we're going to answer a question. So we have 50 cat and dog owners total. 25 have a cat, 10 owners have a cat and dog. How many have a dog? Okay, so it seems kind of simple, but you got to be careful. With Venn diagrams and numbers, we always start inside out. So we're going to let C represent our cat and D represent our dog. 10 is what they have in common, so we put 10 here. Then we know 25 have a cat, so the entire cat bubble must be 25, making this number over here 15. This number is not 25. If it was 25, then that would mean 35 people could have a cat, which is way too many. So this is 15. We know there are 50 total, so that means 25 have to go here because 15, 10, and 25 is 50. Then it asks how many have a dog. Well, 25 have only a dog, and these 10 have a cat and a dog. So 35 total have a cat and a dog. Now try the U-try, pause the video, and then check your answer. This is what your Venn diagram should look like for the students taking classes. You have science and history. 81 take both. 152 take history, so you subtract, and that's where the 71 comes from, meaning 88 are only taking science. So then your question asks how many freshmen are taking history but not science, and that would be the 71. Alright, we have one more to try. You have people in academic clubs and sports, or both. 20 are in both. 115 participate in sports, so that means 95 go here when you subtract. Then you have 80 in academic clubs, so 60 would go here to make this bubble an entire 80. These 3 numbers do not add up to be 310, which leaves us with 135 not participating in either one. Then the 2 questions ask which participate in either. That's all of them in the bubbles, 175. How many do not participate in either, which is 135. Okay, we're going to talk about probability, but right now you need to make sure you understand how to read a Venn diagram and how to create a Venn diagram. So if you have any questions on any of the previous pages, take the time, look over it, ask Miss Lewis for any help before going to the second video on basic probability.